How are you, sir?
Good morning. It's 8:36. We'll call this meeting of Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. I would like to share something with you to go along with the prayer. This is a quote out of 1 Timothy 2:1. I urge, then, first of all, that petitions, prayers, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all those in authority, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and all holiness. This is good and pleases God our Savior. Often we have prayers. There are churches in town, pastors mentioned to me, I was with Tom Rogers the other day, and he said, are our prayers doing any good? I said, Tom, without them, we don't have a chance. So please join me. Father God, as we come, we think of the trust that's been placed in each of us by the people who placed us here, and even those that didn't trust that we will do what is right. Father, we ask you to forgive us when we fall short. We ask you to watch over all those that serve. Keep them safe and return them home at night. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Take seats, please. Do y'all have any questions on the consent agenda?
I'm going to make a motion that we approve it, Judge.
Thanks, sir. Is there a
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Mahler, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the consent agenda as stated. Anyone in the audience have any questions about it? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 1 on general business is review and approve the regular bills for payment.
We reviewed the bills on Friday. Judge, I'd make a motion that we pay our regular emergency bills.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mahler, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the the regular bills, excuse me.
Actually, regular bills.
Yeah, we don't have emergencies anymore. Okay. Any comments, questions from the audience? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Judge, is it too late to ask a question? Right? I missed that.
Okay. Say that. Go ahead. It's Monty's Plumbing bill.
It's item number 14 on the consent agenda. I know it's already been approved, but it just had a question about it. Motion to file Monty's Plumbing and Septic Tank Service invoice in the amount of $3,720 with the county auditor for payment processing to move main water line and valve on South Huntington Lane to be paid from blah, 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 line to be determined by the county auditor. Why are we paying to move a water line in a valve?
Commissioner Watson was going to check into that.
Yeah, I've got a question posed to Bass. They were in their easement, they were within their right, but I came in and cut that ditch line, Lee, way down to put in oversized culverts to handle water. Where Mike Walksman lives, in between him and Janet Swanner, there's a natural drain, but no way to get across Huntington.
Okay.
So it builds up on Huntington till it floods over Huntington and goes to
I've seen
the
it.
opposite side. So I came in there and put 3 cement culverts
Across there.
and made a water gap for it, but in order to do it, I had to cut the ditch line way down. And we thought that we may had a deal worked out with Swanner to get Pleasant Valley out of the easement onto private property, but they wouldn't go for it. So in the 9th hour, while I've got crew lined up to start the next day, the Swanner's back out of the easement, and so I get which is Monty's Plumbing is the contractor for Pleasant Valley.
Right.
I get him to take that line 5 foot down,
Just lowered it?
lowered it in place where it
How
was
deep
at.
was it whenever we started?
Yeah, it was about 32 inches probably right at the center of the ditch, and so we were going to pose, since I disturbed
We
them,
disturbed it.
we disturbed it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that I understand. Okay.
but I still was asking the question as to, are we obligated on such a matter as this?
Well, if you put it in just layman's term, if they're in the right of way and their depth was appropriate, because there's rules, and we needed it deeper, then I think that would be on us. But that's why I was asking, what are we doing?
Right.
Okay, I'm satisfied with that.
I'm sorry, there's one other one I think we passed over in that I meant to pull out. Let me go back. Okay, I'm sorry, item 10 in the consent. I thought it was in general business. That jacket, when I checked with the auditor why that, because we've talked about the galls billing, everything just going through. Well, one, the jacket is not on the list of sheriff, and second, it has the patches Velcro on there, and the IRS says they have to be permanently affixed to the jacket. And so it does not meet the requirements for a reimbursable item.
Okay, just in my personal experience, like the city of Wichita Falls, the fire department and their city police, they have Velcro names. I've seen that's kind of like a standard thing nowadays. I see that a lot, especially on our military.
Okay, but who buys the uniforms?
I'm not sure.
The government agency is.
Well, I don't know. If the
Well,
city-
you don't know whether they do or not, but I'm going to tell you
Right.
the military buys.
Well, military, yeah.
Okay.
But
That-
like Wichita Falls PD and that's kind of a common thing. Even their ball caps have a Velcro deal on there.
I can only tell you what the IRS rule says, and I don't think we should be preempting the rule. I'd like to remove item 10 from there and vote on it separately.
Can we, is there a fix for that? I mean, is there
The
a solution?
fixes you
for
get
the
what's
jacket?
approved that meets the criteria. Same thing I told you on the squirrely deal on the tennis shoes that the doctor prescribed for my plantar fasciitis. The IRS rule on flexible spending accounts said, yeah, great, but we're going to deduct $70 off of what you paid because that would be the average price of a regular pair of tennis shoes. Even though I have about 3 different pair in my closet, they didn't care. I bought those for that specific reason, but that's,
Can they be sewn on
Well-
and qualify?
Is this jacket, this $180.92, is it more expensive than the jackets that we get through Galls?
well, it was through
Came from
Galls.
goals.
It came through, the only difference is it was green. It was, there were no the K-9 unit wears the green uniforms, and
Yeah.
their patches are, even on their vest, they're all
Velcro.
on patches.
I knew I had seen
Well,
that.
on their vest, though, that's their Kevlar vest?
Yes.
Okay, those are furnished by the county.
Yeah.
They're not asking for reimbursement for them. That's,
The sleeves are made that way with Velcro already sewed in two spots, and you put your patch on there. That's the way those jackets are made.
The patches actually come off before they go into the laundry,
Yes.
and then they're affixed to a different shirt. Judge, I think that's becoming the standard.
okay,
And
when
if it
it's a
came from
standard,
Galls,
well,
when it comes
that
from
doesn't
Galls-
matter whether it comes from Supreme Uniform. The IRS doesn't care, and I don't think it's within our scope to preempt the IRS rule.
How are the other people getting away with it? I mean, there's got to be,
I don't know whether they're getting away with it or they're buying, if the government agency is buying those uniforms, and then that's different. It's the reimbursement factor on it.
If he permanently affixes those, will that qualify then? I mean, if we just have them sewn on, don't that will qualify?
I think they'd have to go back and ask that, but as long as they stay that way, I could, if you get, that's done, then, that
Well,
might.
Judge, that shirt with those Velcro deals on there is not something that you wear to town with or
It's not-
without
it's-
patches. It's a military or a
Come on,
police officer uniform bought from a uniform company. I think we're legal with it. I think
Well, the
that,
discussion is not whether we agree or not, it's whether the IRS agrees or not, and we don't have the authority to say, yes, the IRS is gonna agree with that.
well, I
we're
think.
talking the wrong end of the discussion.
The story is that how we pitch it to the IRS. And it comes from a uniform shop. It is Velcro specifically for patches that are required on our uniforms. I think this is a common sense deal.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
How do we get away with buying pants that don't have patches? They're part of the uniform, and this particular coat is listed as TAC. It's a tactical coat from Galls.
I just don't see how it doesn't qualify. In my mind, I just don't see how.
Well,
He's not gonna wear it for anything other than for.
But he could. There's also one of the deals they cited here, a detective wearing suits, even though that's his uniform, they don't qualify because they can be worn for other things. And the wearing a pair of military gear is a pretty popular clothing item. I'm just saying we either ought to get clarification from the lady at the IRS or,
So whenever we start the portal, that's gonna be on the portal to purchase, and it's not gonna have it then. So why is it gonna be to purchase it then, but we can't now?
I'm not sure, Chief.
I'm gonna have to go with it. I think it's a common sense thing.
Can we get clarification, Judge, on, and maybe get them to make some, because it may be very likely that that's the only option of technical jacket. I mean, unless you.
It's what the sheriff has approved for our K-9 and for our SWAT team. So that's what they're wearing, is what they're approved by the sheriff.
Gentlemen, if we get dinged by the IRS for $180, I don't think that that's going to break this county. I don't also
Well, the
believe.
ding doesn't quit there.
I don't believe we're gonna be dinged for
The
it.
ding does not quit
I
there.
don't believe we'll be dinged for this. This is a military or a law enforcement jacket bought from a law enforcement company, clothing company, and the Velcro is attached to the patches can be moved from uniform to uniform. I think this qualifies. I really do. I don't think we
Well,
would get a second question.
let's just pose that question to them and get them to, they certainly can answer it, can't they?
I think that's the best solution, is to do that.
So,
And then we'll know going forward
all
what,
right, let's put a deadline on that because our employee is out there with $180 out of his pocket. And if we draw this out to a
No.
few months, that's unacceptable. So if we're gonna do that, we're gonna table it, and we're gonna say we're gonna get a decision from the IRS, then we're gonna say we're gonna get a decision from the sheriff, and then we're gonna say we're gonna get a decision from the IRS, and then we're gonna say we're gonna get a decision from the let's give ourselves a week or 10 days or whatever. Let's make it reasonable for the employee.
When he made that purchase, he also bought some boots. They are labeled tactical boots. They don't have any kind of patches on
Well, neither do the pants. Is it being bought through Galls?
them. Yes, sir.
Are they army boot-looking boots that is approved by the sheriff?
Tactical, yes.
Okay, guys, we gotta quit splitting the hairs, and if the sheriff has approved clothing wear, boot wear, footwear, whatever, through Galls, which we all agreed that was what we were gonna do, I think we quit splitting hairs and just, our sheriff knows whether it's a pair of dress boots he's wearing to church or whether it's tactical.
Well, we're not splitting hairs. The IRS is splitting hairs.
Yeah, that's why I gave you the example.
Well, wait a minute. First time we said we're gonna go with Galls and the approved wear.
That's exactly
they put
right.
on there.
Okay.
So this is apparently on the portal, and it's approved by the sheriff, the footwear and the jacket. So what's the difference? Why are we
Because the
changing our
sheriff-
mind now?
Okay.
I think
Why not
we
get
are.
allow a couple weeks, get the IRS opinion
Yeah.
and see where we go.
Okay.
You don't have to clean the mess up.
Well, I
If there's a mess.
understand that, but I don't think this is a mess. I think we're being kind of silly about it. I really do. It's just, to me, it's blatantly.
Well, you know, if following the law is silly, then we've got a lot of problems.
I think we are following the law, Judge.
No, I think we ought to know that. We don't make that law. I'm not arguing the reasoning
you follow
behind
what
it.
I'm
I'm just saying what the black and white says. I don't like it. That's not my deal.
I think
didn't-
it's been interpreted incorrectly. How's that?
Okay, then let's let them tell us whether
Okay.
we're interpreting it incorrectly or not. Okay, so let's remove item 10, allow 2 weeks, and then take action. Okay. Now we'll get back in order. Discuss and review jail maintenance projects and work orders. I read the email, I didn't print it off, but on front.
I don't believe they're reading open ones.
No. Mm-mm. Okay, let's move on to item number 3 is discuss recommendations by Texoma Builders for uniform keying of the tax office substations. Commissioner Watts. that was
If
yours.
y'all will look at the paper that Nancy printed out for us, I'll walk you through the thought process of Texoma here. There is, I have as the top one, the Electra Precinct Rekey. It's quote ends in 4.
There are
224.
numbers, okay, I was going to say they're in numerical order if you want to go that way.
Yeah, the 224 one is the, here is the overview, is that after looking at all the keys and the little was needed at Iowa Park and Burke, the thought of Texoma was to change the old style locks at Electra to the same locks that Burke and Iowa Park are carrying. And Iowa Park entirely, Burke Nerley. But, so this was the rekey for the locks at the Electra facility. And this becomes the handicapped accessible, same lock as this one to my right here. And this is a light to medium duty lock. And if we wanted to upgrade to a heavy, which I just don't really know that there's a reason to do, he put an upgrade in that number as well. He felt like the medium duty lock was the adequate. And y'all may have an opinion of that, but he just didn't think we needed to go to the heavy duty style. Apparently there's 3 grades, and this is middle. Great, okay, so that's the $6,000 for the Electra facility. The Burke Burnett, the quote that ends in 8 for Burke Burnett would, I'm sorry,
No, that's all
that
part.
ends in 6 is option 1. This is just for the tax office and Viavatni's office there, and it changes it. What it does is the same as Iowa Park. Cylinder changes only that are repinned and allowing for that lock to be, or that key to be duplicated throughout. And so it's just a cylinder change because there were odd cylinders there, and there are some locks in the back part of that building that are not the Ruskin locks. And so there were a few to change out in that facility. The option 2, which was the quote ending in 7, dealt with Lee's office, not Lee's, but Donald's. And Lee said that they felt they were adequate there. Just when I had him and no one was there, I went ahead and went to the Donald's building and re-quoted standardizing those locks because there were several in that. So he wrote it up as option 2 to include Donald's building as well as the tax office. But Lee seemed to think that Donald was good in his lock situation, and it really wasn't
Needed.
something we needed, right, Lee?
That's correct.
Okay, so the $3,600 would be the adequate quote for the Burke Burnett facility. And then the quote ending in 8, which is the Iowa Park quote, it's cylinders only. All of those are in great shape. They're all identical. They're all very adequate. And it would repin all of those locks that were there, and we're looking at $3,100. So just shy of $15,000 is what the rekey for the 3 facilities would be. Put them all in compliance with one another and be compatible with 3 ranges of keys: a Grand Master, a Master, and a Department.
I know when you were looking into this, you looked at one company, you felt like they did not have the wherewithal to do this and to back it up after they did that. Is there any other supplier? That's a lot of money.
Well, these are, Judge, similar to a Ford dealership or a Chevrolet dealership. I mean, there's, we could go out of the area and bring in a vendor, but because these are franchised deals, not everyone are handlers of those. Lee, do you have you know some about that? Or
I do, but it's really a conflict.
to bring
My company does this exact work, has this exact
But you, as long as you
stuff,
recuse yourself.
and I know that these prices are through the roof.
high?
Oh, Lord, yes.
Well, do we want to, I mean, is it okay to get another
quote.
person in this to work our territory? I mean, is that,
I'm sorry, for that amount of money, I think it'd be worth finding out if they're, that's local, isn't it? The only thing you'd have to do legally is recuse yourself from voting on that.
Right. I just look at this and go, wow.
do you want to quote it off of these numbers?
Well, we could just take this work description right here for Iowa Park, Burke.
Yeah,
Electra.
option 1 on Burke.
Well, just take just this work description and provide it to MC Doors and Windows and let them just quote just
Okay.
that part. I'm
Would
telling
you,
it'd
would
be
you do
several.
that for us? And,
I can get I own the company, so I really feel like I should not be doing it.
Well, if you'll give me the contact name, I'll go ahead and follow
You
through
know,
with
it's
them, and
just
I'll.
like unethical somehow, but this is totally out of line.
Well, I think keeping you arm's length away, having it's Mr.
Yes.
Watt's project, if he has the contact information.
Yeah, I can get him to
Okay.
go through it. And
I mean, I don't run the company on a daily basis. Rodney does. Rodney does all the locks and the heavy hardware. It's
What's
just,
Okay, what's
I
the
just
name?
don't
of
want to cross the line.
Yeah.
MC Doors and Windows.
MC.
And I'll get you the contact
Okay.
information, Jeff.
Okay. Move on to item 4 is discuss, consider, take action to approve salary alignment court administrator's office 425 beginning February 23rd, 2018 as follows. The court administrator's salary will stay the same. The deputy chief court administrator will reduce that by the amount that will change. It'll be about $3,000, and add that to the indigent defense coordinator salary. And the deputy court administrator 1 position will stay at the same salary. The only ones, the court administrator salary will not change from what it is right now until we use up the vacation time that Missy Brotherton had, which was 180 hours of vacation. So that will not move, but this would allow the others to move. The salary will be taken for that interim period from position number 4, which they have vacant, and they will absorb that difference. The total amount will not change. It will simply change the distribution of it.
And that's all within their budget.
Yes, sir, it is. But that 4th position is the one we had designated that would go away once Odyssey went live and was fully implemented, 30 days after that. But this is what we discussed with Ann and Yell. She brought us Mitzi's recommendation, and she's already got the people doing those jobs. That's why she asked if we can make it effective on the 23rd, which is the beginning of the time week.
Just run the numbers and just verified they are to the penny
Yeah.
the same. Just to double check.
Budget neutral.
Budget neutral. It's just a reshuffling around within the office. I make the motion that we accept it as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Muller. Any comments or discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Pardon me.
Item 5, discuss the second, approve the hiring of temporary receptionists in the Public Defender's Office to begin working as soon as possible and continue working until the regular full-time receptionist returns to work. This request for a temporary receptionist shall not exceed 8 calendar weeks. The temporary receptionist will be paid an hourly rate of up to $10 per hour plus temporary staffing fees to be paid by transfer from general fund contingencies to the Public Defender's Office salaries and benefits budget as determined by the county auditor. This temporary position will have no county benefits. Mr. Rasmussen.
Judge, we've got, our full-time receptionist is on medical leave, and her leave comes out April 1st. This would all be budgeted because her accrued leave has been exhausted, so we had it down for out of the contingencies, but it really could come out of the salaries and benefits since we're not paying her at this point in time, but we have to wait until the April 1st expires to either make a change or have her back. So this temporary deal is to fill that position until that point in time.
Jim, Nancy's asking if you would please pick up the microphone because she can't hear you. Would you kind of recap what you just said?
Turn this on.
No, it's on.
No, it's on.
This is to temporary position. We have one of our staff, the receptionist, who's on medical leave, serious illness in the family, and she's the caretaker. And she will, April 1st is the date when that medical leave expires.
Paid medical leave?
No, she's already used her accrued leave of vacation and sick leave.
To
So
this, up to today, it's already expired.
It's expired
Okay,
today,
okay.
yeah. So, actually last week, but.
Did you fill out the FMLA
Yes.
paperwork? Good
It's
enough,
all
thank you.
been done the way it's
All right.
supposed to be done.
Great.
Right, and so we want somebody to, until we know whether she's going to come back or not, I mean, we're a little bit, we just don't know. And there's a treatment involved in this person, and it's pretty serious, so we're just not certain. But this would carry it up to April 1st, and then past that a little bit if we had to hire somebody at that point in time. So
Okay.
Motion to
that's my
approve.
request.
Yeah. it's-
You wanted to come out and let's come out of current salary?
Current salary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever's fine with me, whatever the auditor says, I don't care.
It's like almost being a wash, Jim.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a little bit better because we're not paying benefits.
Right, and she makes more than that anyway, so.
Judge Gossam, I'll second that motion.
Okay, thanks, sir. Okay. Motion by Commissioner Mahler, second by Commissioner Harvey to approve as stated, but funds will be paid from the current salary line rather than general fund contingency. Other questions or comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Motion carries 4-0. Item 6 is discuss, consider, Jim, y'all are welcome to stay, but certainly can move on. You get a chance, holler at me. I need to visit with you sometime this week on an idea.
Okay.
That ought to be scary enough to say that. Okay.
I always do that too, that's a lawyer thing too.
Yeah.
It's not anything bad, just like,
Yeah.
thank you, Judge.
Just because you think it's bad doesn't mean it is
That's
bad.
right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Okay.
I'm used to that stuff.
Discuss, consider, take action to approve a quote from Cleaver Brooks Sales and Service in the amount of $7,051.03 for job order 10/15/45/76 for the retube of the Kiwani boiler and inspection of the heat exchanger bundle in the courthouse to be paid from the 2016 limited tax note, and authorize county judge to sign the quote if approved.
Judge Cleaver Brooks has been on that job this last week and making progress. We had one bad tube in that boiler, suspected we had two, and they were completely eroded through. Upon the inspection, we realized that we had some bad pitting and some really bad wear on all of them, and so we went ahead and bumped that up from just a repair of a couple of tubes to a complete retube of that boiler. The rest of it's in good shape, should service us for a long time, and that $7,051 job that we're doing will prevent us from probably putting in a $50,000, $60,000 boiler, and they're in the process of doing the work. I'd make a motion. We approve that.
I would second that motion.
Let me ask you why we're going to pay it from limited tax note. Maybe that was a Willie.
I don't know, Judge.
We use the money.
Sir?
We need to use the money.
Okay, but do we feel it, I'm trying to figure out how it qualifies in that. I'm trying to remember, there was something about courthouse improvements.
Right.
Meredith, do you recall offhand?
No, I would have to look at it.
Could we do this in that motion from that, or if eligible from that fund, and I certainly follow why we want to pay that out of there if we can, but if not, we would allow that it would be paid out of other appropriate funds.
I'd alter my motion to offer that as an option, Judge, on the payment.
Thank you.
I'll alter my second too.
What about your cat?
On the discussion part of that, it's just as easy to replace all of those tubes
As one.
as one, because the work that you have to do to prepare the boiler to replace one tube is the exact same amount of work that you would do to replace them all. And once you have the boiler torn all the way apart, the boiler is that old, you've got two tubes that are the same age as all of the tubes that are already rotted all the way through. The other tubes are showing severe pitting, it's the smartest thing that Commissioner Muller could do, is to totally retube that at this time.
It's like taking an engine apart and fixing one piston.
Exactly, changing one ring,
That's
yeah,
right.
one set of rings.
Yeah, it was time to do it, and I appreciated they walked through with me, and I tell you, folks, it's just a sign that our water here is pretty hard on stuff, on boilers.
You think?
Yeah. But that will, they assured me that that'll put that old thing back in good shape. We should get many years' service back out of it.
And it will.
And it will.
Okay, any other comments on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item 7 is discuss, consider, take action, approve estimate from Texoma Door and Gate in the amount of $4,240 to replace the 10-foot by 10-foot 6-inch rolling steel exit door and install LiftMaster model H460V three-phase operator in the downtown jail facility to be paid from 400.511.4452. Repair and maintenance building line to be determined by the county auditor. Chief?
That door has been broken for over 2 weeks. I don't know how old it is, but they tell me they can't get parts for it anymore. The wheels are gone, the motor's starting to be gone on top.
Is that the main door over
That's
here?
the outdoor, yeah, that's the main. So everybody coming into the jail has to come in and go out the same door.
It's the Sally Port door.
South door. So right now, a lot of the guys are having to park across the street and walk their inmates in. Because we have very limited room, we go in and out the same door.
Which is not good.
Now, Will, is this the door we repaired that the state ran
No,
into?
they got the entry door.
Okay.
This is the exit door.
Okay.
So we're gonna bring the exit door up to the standard of the entry door.
Yes.
Yeah.
We probably go, that door goes up and down, I don't know, 12, 15,000 times a year, so it gets
Yeah.
well used.
I'd make a motion to approve that quote from Texoma Door and Gate and move forward.
Will, it doesn't sell, sorry, second?
The only thing that we need to get it done, but I wish we'd had more than one quote on it. It'd been nice, but this needs to get done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other comments on this?
Yes,
Yes,
Will.
sir.
This door, it doesn't specify, is this door a roll-up door that rolls up into a ball, or is
No,
it
it's the same.
overhead door? Okay, that's,
Door like, just
okay.
like the one we're taking.
so it doesn't say, is this door insulated?
It's probably not, no. It doesn't say it, but the other one's not. I'm going to assume this one's not either. I would think that price would go up insulated. The Sally Port's cold or hot, depending on what time of year it is anyway.
So there's no air conditioning in the Sally Port?
No.
Okay, all right.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item 7, we don't have 5 of us here, but I gave you a list of some questions that I had on it. I don't know if you had a chance to.
Table this again.
Yeah, but I mean, did you get a chance to look at those and get?
I've just started it, Judge.
Okay.
I hadn't.
All right. Okay, we are down to public comments. Ms. Arsenault, do you have anything from TAC to bring us? You're going to be here visiting with Amanda this week. And
Oh, everything's business as usual. Well, I shouldn't say that, business as usual. We've had some staff shakeups. We have a new director in risk management, and Mike Strawn is a supervisor
Ma'am.
now.
Oh, the,
Our lady
yeah,
in the
I'm sorry,
booth
yeah.
is asking you to grab the microphone.
Nancy's
Yes.
gets her way.
Okay.
So we have a new director of risk management services. You may have met him, Michael Shannon was already working at TAC, but Tracy Seiler resigned.
Really?
Yeah, so Michael Shannon and Robert Ruiz are assistant director and director. Michael's the director, Robert's the assistant director. Mike Strawn, Ernesto Galindo went to work for TML. TML is expanding their road program to start to include HR consultants and everything now. They're copying us.
Uh-huh.
So Ernesto went to TML. Mike is the new Ernesto, Mike Strawn. He's my supervisor now. And the insurance person for the Northwest Territory that will work with me is open. So we got nobody. Mike's filling in as
Yeah.
needed.
Are we talking about Relicia?
No.
No, you know.
Ramesha's in
Yeah,
healthcare.
Ramesha's your health, is on the health side. We're separate from them.
Okay.
Ramisha and Shamiria, your health and wellness
We
people.
don't want to lose him.
Yeah, no, you got them. Unless they take a hike and go to a different territory like Ashley did, so then we
You just give them a raise, you keep them.
Then we just tell Ashley every time I see her, she's a traitor.
Yeah.
So, but I'm the consistent one. Other than a brief 10-month period where I didn't travel, I'm the HR consultant and have been for forever and ever and ever.
Well, we stole you in 2000 or no?
1999.
99. Because I listened to your address and I met her at Abilene, I think is where that was, for the newly elected
Yeah.
officials, and we
Yes.
talked you into coming here for a while.
Yes, I went back to TAC for paid-for retiree health insurance, which TAC doesn't have anymore. So I took a gamble and I lost. It is what it is. Nobody can afford it.
I was going to say, that's, yeah.
Michelle, have you looked at our employee handbook or what we've developed to this?
The new one. The
I
new
haven't. Kelly looked at it. So that's a service you get when you participate in the public officials pool. But I will take it and read it. I have a mind, Woody, if you say no to Woody, he just calls Gene and Woody gets his way. So I'm happy to look at and read your current draft. That's
Okay. If you've been around since, dirt.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's like coming up here and spending time with Amanda. That's normally a service that would be under the public officials pool, but I basically told Mike I'm doing it, I'm going. Mike Strong was like, yeah, it's fine. Woody would get his way anyway. So he said that it was time well spent, is what he told me.
Good. We hope so too. And
So you guys do get special services without participating in the public officials pool.
What is that, Michelle?
General liability.
Yeah,
okay.
it's actually it's public officials and law enforcement. It's you guys are self-insured,
Yeah.
so you don't have that coverage. That's all I got.
Well, thank you for coming and visiting us.
I'm happy to be.
Thank you.
It's like old home week for me.
Well, it's good. We're glad to have you here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Watts, would it be possible if you and I went and wrote these so I could see what we're doing?
Yeah, you got any keys?
Keys?
Yeah, and just
They're
take it to
gated.
the entrance. I
They're
can't
locked.
get in the gate.
Climb the fence and walk them.
Well, I got a master lock key.
I might
Is it about that long?
If our road is closed by an illegal gate, I can certainly open it without no repercussions.
Same one the fire departments carry.
Yeah. We
But I
can-
would like to see, just visualize.
Yeah.
Because I could learn from this is my point.
There's a-
We have some roads in precinct 2 that are privatized, Clark Road for one, it's got a fence across it. So I'd like to learn, go and look.
The only one there that doesn't appear to be a road, that you can't really tell is a road is Lee Road. But the rest of them are, they're roadways, actually.
Right.
They're just closed.
Well, if we got some
pulled-
afternoon or something, if I
Yeah.
could ride with you and,
You bet.
okay.
I pulled the PowerPoint up. We had a session at one of our training conferences on opening and closing county roads, and I pulled that PowerPoint up this weekend. I haven't finished reading it, but I'm going to read it. It's got all of it.
Judge got me some information on it as well.
I think it's the same thing, Bob Bass's presentation. Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. I found that. I knew I had it, and sure enough, I dug it out of the file. And, because I think we've all got roads that need to be looked at. And do you have to have a hearing? I haven't actually read the deal, but I'm going to in the next couple of days.
Okay.
And,
Ms. Kennedy?
Y'all really need to take a look at section 251.051 of the
Wait.
Transportation Code.
251,
0.051.
That's, I think, referenced.
okay.
That requires you a unanimous vote, but you also have to designate a replacement road. So if there's another alternate route around it, you need to designate that. And you can't do it unless the road has been vacated or unused for at least 3 years. So you're gonna wanna make sure you put all of that on the record. when
Well,
you get ready.
that's some of the questions I asked Commissioner, find out, get statements from the
And-
people or whatever.
And that's true only for second or third class roads. If it's a first class road, you have to do a whole different procedure.
Right.
But I'm guessing these are probably gonna be third class roads.
That's correct.
And what is a first-class road, Ms. Meredith?
Well, it's the easement, the ditches, and I have that, Meredith.
It's all about the
the
measurement
width
of the
of
road,
the,
how big it is
And-
and how far it is.
Commissioner Watts, what if there is utilities in easements along these roads?
Those would,
I'm just asking.
Once you abandon the road, the property then reverts back to the landowners on either side of the road.
But do the easements transfer back?
They would, the easements would still exist, they're
Okay.
just now across those properties.
Okay.
But you also, I mean, we have to make sure that these roads are not an ingress or egress from a property owner that needs to be used, as a public road, you know, like across the property behind another one, and it has to be used for that. Because if you abandon a road that somebody is using to access their property, then they could file suit.
I think these roads are probably like my Clark Road.
They're just fenced off and the
They're fenced
owner,
off and nobody can, well, there's a gate there you can open, but
but they're not
Yeah.
going to a secondary property further down.
mine is not. Mine goes into the Clark home and dead ends.
When, Meredith, there was even in this Crone Road here, the Crone Road is not and hasn't been on our list of county roads at this location. I don't know, and I still don't know if it was ever, but it shows up on my GPS mapping as Crone Road, but it's through a private individual's, and it's not near the size of a regular road. But when I cross the cattle guard and go in to this property, it still identifies on my GPS as Crone Road all the way until it stops. So I listed it because I don't know if some point in time it just fell off the list.
It may have been abandoned already at some point, or it was just a private road that happened to have a designation as a road, but it's not a publicly maintained road. So I think you probably want to be careful about making sure that you're only trying to close public roads,
Okay,
because that's all you have jurisdiction to do anyway.
that's right.
Meredith, in precinct 2, let's see, that's right here on the tip of my tongue. I have a road that tees into River Road. It is, starts with an S, it's the last name. Golly,
Yes, the T's in
I
there.
work with those
Does
guys.
it Y into it or T
No,
into
it tees into it,
Perpendicular.
perpendicular. And I can almost tell you the people's last name, Turner. Anyway, the road goes from River Road to their front door. Okay? And I said, when I first got elected, I said, Donald, this is a driveway. Well, way back whenever I was 35 years ago, golly, I almost said the name of it. It's some people's last name. It's named after the people that live at the end of the driveway. And he said that we've been maintaining that road for 30-something years. I don't think it's a county road. I think that some commissioner or some foreman way back in the day had a buddy that lived there, and they graded the road and put some stuff on them, and somehow, some way, I think that wound up.
I bet you money it had to do with the school bus. I'll bet you.
Yeah.
And it could
And
have.
there's been a lot of roads that that's.
Starterdale, that's exactly right. Will, thank you.
What was it?
Starterdale Road. I couldn't get it out.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
Starterdale Road.
There are several of those roads where the school bus had to go, and the county started maintaining them so the school bus could have access. And
Well,
I bet you
it
that's
goes right
where-
up to their front door. They'd have to do a 3-point turn to get out of there.
Yeah.
Well, it must not be marked. I mean,
It is marked. It's
Yeah.
got a street sign that says Starterdale
Oh, it
Road,
does.
River Road, Starterdale Road.
But,
To me, it's a driveway.
well, you've probably got a number of roads that are like that, but they're fenced on both sides, so you gotta find out, was it dedicated by the property owner, or is it a prescriptive? Which one is it?
A prescriptive easement, well,
Yeah.
or easement by necessity, or,
Yeah.
It's, probably before you really undertake this task, you need to figure out how they became county roads.
Yeah.
Maybe impossible. I
Well-
mean, there may not have ever been a deed over to the county for the, easement to build the road.
So I could go to the county clerk's office and look for that.
Where's the count? Yes. We're back there, yeah.
Well, or over at the plat office, you
Or
might
through
find it.
the microfiche,
Yeah.
is to
Well, I don't
see-
even know how to operate that microfiche stuff. I mean, I just don't. I've never even,
But I mean, you know, how do you, even if it's for a private landowner at this point, if it's a designated county road, it has to be vacated or unused for 3 years.
well, it's used by that family. It's
Right.
not used by the public. Oh, the
Right.
postman may go down that road, I think, maybe.
So I think there's a little more work that we need to make sure that these roads can be abandoned.
This driveway's a 1/4 mile long. It's not a little
Right.
short
I'm telling you,
driveway.
mail carrier and school bus got a lot of that going.
Right. I mean, I know, I did some research a long time ago in Crowell, and that's where we found the original plat of the county roads, was the old postal carrier routes. That's what established their county roads early on, so.
So could that have established,
May have. yeah.
And it's been
even though it's
maintained.
not documented?
I mean, there's probably some old maps somewhere, and they're probably at the plat office, yes, that
But
would
it-
show how these roads all became.
But the roads by prescription are the fact that you've maintained them for a period of time and they become a
county
road
roads.
regardless of the amount of use.
Well, Starterdale Road's been maintained by the county for over 30 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was there. In fact, I think Commissioner Griffith had some land off of that at one time.
Yeah.
Con
And who
Archers.
is the girl who's the lady in Campfire, Judge, that lives down there?
Joyce, it's her,
Joyce something, yeah, that is.
her maiden name was a K. It was a,
I know exactly what you're talking
So
about.
we
It's down
we
there,
really
too.
need to
Crutcher.
make sure we're
KR.
on,
And
before we
there's-
start.
Yeah, there's some stuff in that, Mr. Bass's paper that we probably need to review as well.
Will you help us
I mean,
with that?
Yeah, I'm sure, not in the next week and a half,
Got it?
No.
because
Yeah,
I've got that Supreme
when,
Court argument.
I was going to say,
coming up, but
when do you go south next week?
Wednesday, yeah, or I'll leave Tuesday, but Wednesday is the argument. At the Supreme Court in Austin.
You know,
Uh-huh.
there's a whole bunch of HR consultants.
Will, thank you.
Thank you. Will.
Thanks.
So, but yeah, I mean, we just need to take a look at probably a map of the roads to see, do they access more than one piece of property? Because if not, you're going to have to designate some road to get to the other properties.
Right.
So,
You can't landlock somebody, I know that,
right.
but they get an easement. But it doesn't mean that we maintain the
It
easement.
doesn't necessarily, no. But if it's a road that's being used by the public, in other words, not just by the private landowner that's on it, but by the guy behind him, that's a public road now, you can't
Sure.
just abandon it because it's being used. So we just gotta, a lot of times in the old days, driveways became roads because
Well,
counties could do that, but,
Meredith, I know one of these roads, and I believe it's Randolph Road, it's on the end of Highway 25, and it is nothing but blow sand.
Yeah.
And I mean a tremendous amount of blow sand. And I talked to William Locke about it, and he said, if you guys let me, I'd go in there and I'd clean that crap up, because it is around his cattle pens and stuff, but he doesn't have the authority to go out there and take his bulldozer or his maintainer that he owns himself
right.
and clean up around his own property. So this one spot, to me, is untraveled by anyone because it's impossible to begin with. It is blow sand.
Yeah,
And
and
I-
so that may be a perfect road to abandon because nobody's using it, A, and because there's probably some other designated path.
Well, the adjacent landowner would go in there and clean it,
Yeah,
so that he could access his pens and stuff. But for us to go out there and is it Randolph Road, Jeff,
No.
that's out there?
No, that's
What's the name
Lee
of it?
Road is the one you're,
Lee Road? Okay,
Yeah,
that, it would take a tremendous amount of money for us to make that road, prepare that road for the public. And to me, I would abandon that road in a heartbeat and let that landowner take care of getting to his own pens.
yeah, we just need to spend some time with the
Meredith,
roads and, now that we have all the roads and the descriptions, I mean, are all of them a total road or just a portion of the road?
all of them are segments of a road. Like Randolph Road just goes and stops, and but some of them are just the end of the road.
The end portion.
This Moeller Road north from Wolf Road to north to Flippin, me and Andrew a long time ago could not find anything out that it had ever been closed, but there was a bridge that burnt down and the county never replaced it 50 years ago. It's that Screaming Sheila haunted bridge. It's made the
Screaming
news.
Sheila.
And anyway, so
Never heard of that.
it's all just farmland
You've been
now.
there.
It's not even
Been
a
there.
road.
Yeah.
But it didn't appear to ever had action taken on it.
Right.
But there was also another example, just to tell you of how it be, and I was telling you about the microfish. I had a question posed to me on Bell Road, which was an active road in Iowa Park, but it is halfway on the very south end of Bell Road. It's FM. It's an FM road beginning at what used to be the Experiment Farm owned by Texas A&M and moving north. All FM road maintained by the state. But past that, it's a smaller road, falls off the FM road and continues on for maybe 700-800 yards. Well, I asked Andrew to see if it's something designated as when the experiment station sold back in the day, that if there was development or they come to Commissioner's Court, well, there was no recorded activity that would pull up from the different scenarios. We searched through the FM road, the Bell Road, all of those deals that wouldn't pull up. Well, then I had Boyd, the surveyor engineer here that retired. He helped me. This was well after Andrew had left, and he went to the deed records, and in right around 1920, the Texas A&M had gave their portion, this half of the diversion, to the county in an effort, but contingent upon the other party on this side giving their half, which never happened. But the roadway still was created and existed. If A&M now, which owns none of the property there and have gone on, I guess could raise question as to, hey, this wasn't followed through. But that's maybe why the road is somewhat smaller, because there's truly not an easement on one side, or there's not a roadway on one side, but it become a road.
Right.
And it is an inlet to several properties. And I don't know how you'd get to it if you didn't have Bell Road there. There's pretty complicated to ever come in a different direction. The river's in the back,
Right.
Plenty of big irrigation ditch.
Right.
Which
It'd
what
be
makes
difficult,
that
it'd be a
even
difficult
more,
road to abandon, in other words. Yeah.
even
Right.
more interesting is that land that A&M had was part of that Valley Farms deal, which was a federal program to divide all that stuff. So that thing gets more complicated as you go further back. There were certain restrictions that A&M had to do to establish that research farm, and
Was that a grant given to Texas A&M from that?
I would assume, I've never read
FHA?
it, but I would bet, because that was part of that Valley Farms project that they had going out there. So that goes way back. And,
Wow. Because see, all of that, Meredith, around Pleasant Valley area out there was through the Farmers Home Administration and grants given to people to take a home, a barn, and 100 acres and move in and reside there. And
They built the irrigation system, and part of that experiment farm came along as part of that project.
Part of the plan.
And there's no history written of a lot of that stuff. Wow. And very little.
Mark Smith could have told you the history
I-
of all of it.
I did not know, Barry.
Some of it.
I did
Some
not
of it.
realize and never even thought about it being a arm or a portion of
Yeah.
Valley Farm.
It's all part of it. That was all part of that project, and very little. There was very few legal papers filed there's very little history written. It's, you know, it's just pieces of what, you know, somebody that lives out there remembers. And it's,
Camp
it's a shame.
Chaparral's part of that.
What's that?
Camp Chaparral's part
It's
of
in
that.
that area. Do you, Meredith, did you ever go to any dances or anything at the community center out there, kind of in between, it'd be right off 369 between Burke and Iowa Park?
She
or
wasn't
Burke
even
and Wichita.
born when they were doing that stuff.
No, she was too, yeah. But, I mean,
You
they
know how
had
long
a,
ago that's been?
Well, that community center was part of that, project.
it was part of that project.
Yeah, now it's a church. Now it's a church.
Yeah.
Now it's a church.
But it burnt plumb down.
Long time
It
ago.
burnt plumb down, and the church then rebuilt on top of that. But it was a big building, a big cool room.
Yeah.
2 fireplaces, you know, and
Mark
kind of
Smith
meeting
has,
rooms.
Mark
on
Smith
each-
has pictures of all of that and got a big,
Well, I
kind of
went
a
to. We had
presentation.
4-H club meetings there.
yeah,
Wow.
when he was a kid.
I think we're close to the same age, so.
No way. Really? Oh,
Well, that.
somebody's holding up better than somebody else. Just
Okay. Commissioner Harvey, anything else to report?
No, I'm glad to be home. Took my little bride halfway around the world. Been someplace I never thought I'd ever go. Honduras. What in the world? And it was absolutely beautiful. There's an island out there called Roatan that's
I've been there.
it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. The water is crystal clear, and the fish. I was sitting there on the beach in my little lounge chair, drinking my little whatever that fruity stuff is they bring you, and an iguana crawled up right beside me. I got pictures on my phone. It's about that big, and we had some nachos earlier that day. Not all of them were eaten, and there was a bunch of meat on there. So I sat there for about an hour and pitched meatballs to this iguana while all the
Oh
tourists.
my
It's pretty
heavens!
cool.
I would
It's
have
pretty
left out of there.
We did not, unfortunately, have a mass brawl on our cruise ship. Very, very peaceful.
Nobody got thrown overboard.
No. Big Jim Russell and Outlaw Station was at 94.9, something like that. They have they go every year, and we got invited to go this year. And we went, and we absolutely had a great time. Big Jim and his wife Sarita was kind of like the leaders of the deal, and kind of planned where we went, what we did, and it was very, very good. Good. I'm glad to be home. I'll be honest with you. But there's no place like home. You can go off someplace like that and kind of enjoy yourself. But you know, after a while, you get to missing, and I did. I'm glad I'm home. I didn't get home about 1:30 Sunday night because we were supposed to get off the boat at 7 a.m. Drive home, no big deal. The fog set in, and I was standing on the deck of the boat looking down at the water, and you could not see the water. The fog was so dense. We sat out there offshore until 2 o'clock that afternoon. The sun finally burned the fog off, and we come in and poured it and got off the boat. We actually left Galveston about 5:30 instead of 8. So we just, and there's, all the restaurants are closed, all the,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you had to beg for a bottle of water, and everybody was just sitting there out of your room, had to be out of your room so they could clean it for the next people to get on, so just sitting out in the hall.
I'm surprised you didn't have a brawl.
Yeah, we were pretty laid back. We understood that Mother Nature kind of rules today. Whatever she says is kind of what you live with. So, but it's good to be home. I do know that this coming up Saturday, the Redneck Culinary Academy will be providing a meal for the Electra Volunteer Fire Department. They're having an officer installation banquet.
6 o'clock, I noticed my
Yep.
invitation.
6 o'clock, it will be at the Electra Junior High cafeteria. Same place that we had the
Chamber.
chamber banquet. One thing that we won't be able to present But here, I'm going to say a month ago, I don't know exactly how long ago it was, Cedar Ridge Aviation, which is a company that's owned by Dustin Johnson. Do y'all remember whenever the gentleman walked out of Texoma Christian Care Center? Is that what it was out there on Loop 11? The windmill?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he escaped. And we had everybody in this county looking for that person. Well, Dustin Johnson sent his helicopters up here from Knox City and flew the grid and helped us search for that gentleman. Well, when we were having our fire about a month ago on the southwest corner of this county, which the terrain was, believe it or not, we got hills in Wichita County, we couldn't see. So he said, Lee, do you want me to bring my helicopter up there and get the incident command up? So I said, if you, I can't order that, you know, I can't pay you. I didn't ask you for money. I'll be there in 30 minutes. So he come up, he took the incident commander, which was Greg Lynn, up. Once he could see, he could delegate his equipment. About 30 minutes after he got up, the fire was out. So they have a very, very nice plaque made to give to Cedar Ridge Aviation, but he will not be able to attend this Saturday. He's going to be flying helicopters somewhere around Lubbock and won't be able to be there. But it's just another example of the people from North Texas about how they care about each other, and he never asked for a penny to come and do community service. So I'm very proud of Dustin in his attitude towards Wichita, Clay, Will Barger. He's a really, really good supporter. So I wish he could be there Saturday to receive his plaque, but he will not. And I can't think of any, that's it.
Okay,
Nothing
good.
else.
Thank you.
That's gonna-
Commissioner Waller.
Well, just two good feeds for the academy on Saturday, the Iwo Jima survivors, and well, that's tremendous. And they're thinking this may be the last one. The numbers are dwindling very quickly.
Yeah, I understand they had a flamethrower.
They did have a flamethrower, and Jeff used it to cook fish. And anyway, great meal. And then, of course, the fundraiser for Brad. Jeff, I'll let you talk a little bit about that. Jeff Watts was kind of one of the organizers of that and raised some money for a friend that needed some help. So busy week, busy weekend, but a good weekend.
Y'all had over 500 people turn out for that Brad win.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it
it's,
is.
That's what I heard. It was really
It
good.
was very good.
the window was 5 to 7 and they started and they never stopped.
Never let up.
No, it stayed steady right till the end.
I think we need to give a special call out to Randy Catlin. He kind of started this whole thing.
Yeah.
I guess lifelong friends with Brad.
Brad worked for them.
Did he?
Did that. Just in the car wash and they built the car wash and the oil change place there, and then Brad bought the oil change place.
Right. Randy was instrumental in getting this thing going, and matter of fact, he footed the bill for all the food
And help cook it.
and helped cook it. Sure did.
And it was just a good go, and we raised just over $6,000, I think, for him. We were targeting $5,000 for surgery, and so that's was a great deal. It was just a good time, and the whole day was really good. The weather turned out nice, and it was just.
Brad was there Saturday night and he's doing well.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. So.
And we had some people that ate with us. Those biker crew that were driving around the area, they ate lunch with us at the Iwo Jima deal and then came to Brad's deal and ate.
Jimmy Gilmore.
Jimmy
and
Gilmore,
his
which
bunch,
used to
so-
be Harley
Yeah,
Davidson.
he still is. He still runs the Harley store. That's his crew. They came back.
One thing that I really appreciate is while talking to Barry last night on the phone, he said, we worked our tail off Saturday, doing that Brad deal. He said, but Lee, it's so funny. He was so tired.
Yeah.
But I never felt so good.
It's a
It
good
made me
ride.
feel good. It was so satisfying
Yeah.
to help people.
Yeah.
He said, I feel great. And that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was very good. It
Yeah.
was very good.
Mr. Watts.
I'm trying to think what anything new coming up. We're excited to get the Huntington Road deal to come together. It's prepped and laid out. It looks really good. We've captured some easement back in there that the road had grown away from, and so that's good. It's going to be a real nice segment and match the rest of the Berries Road going north. It'll actually be at the same width now, but that's really good. And we've got a lot of upcoming road projects which Donald and Jerry have greatly assisted on, helped coordinate some work times and get that all to come together. Oh, I'm sorry. And we've got, I'd set that off. I do have the Gradalls. They came over and started at the old Gradall, but they haven't picked it up. So I'm having to kind of get gripey over coming and getting it off the cemetery. Not that anybody said a word, but I just don't want
It's a cemetery. I doubt they will.
I'm just leaving them. Don't want them to leave it there on me forever, but he actually came and did start it up, and I guess they're going to.
Did Dennis Bogart buy it?
No, that Weidenheimer, the silver-haired older guy that
Eddie Weidenheimer?
scraps or has a wrecking yard over here by.
Oh, no.
Is who that bought it. His grandson Stephen was with him. But anyway, other than that, that's most I've put together. I'm going to bring you when I get it all together. We have a very large carport that is on the south side of our yard that does not manage water well. It's washing right through us, and I'm wanting to reconfigure that somewhat, and I'm getting some bids put together for us to take a look at and see. I don't know what kind of money I'm talking about yet, but just
Where you had all the stuff laid out for the auction up underneath that deal?
yeah,
Water
it
runs
comes
through
off the
that?
cemetery and right through me, and plus it was built on the grade, and I'm not going to change that, or not looking to change that, but I am looking at potentially flooring that thing and maybe kicking it back the other way so water can't come through me.
Linda needs you, I think.
But anyway, I'm getting some price put together. They never tinned that whole thing or pulled it down. One of the things that got us this time, and we're trying to get electricity run where we can plug in stuff, because that cold day or two, and we had something going on. What were we all doing? We like never got started. And then even when we did get started, that service truck ended up in the shop for a reset over it because the diesel tried to jail.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
And so, not that that's going to cure that problem, but at least block warm those things up. They'll be a lot better. But
And Jeff, when we know it's cold like that, we can put it's not a quart, it's a pint, isn't it? A pint of that diesel stuff that prevents
into the fuel.
It just pour it in your tank. It's like maybe it's a half pint.
Yeah.
It's a small deal. You just unscrew it, pour it in there, and it keeps your fuel from gelling.
Doing that.
And you can just order a case of it and have it on the shelf. And when you look up and it's going to be 3 degrees, boys, go put that in the equipment that you know that you're going to use.
Yeah.
It's about $2 a bottle.
Everybody, and Deb, you can help on this too. I wish that y'all would get from Judy your fixed assets, look through those and take off those things that no longer belong. What I've found is I have that line needs to exist. For example, air compressor, but the one I've got, we traded a long time ago. We bought a new one in 2001 or two, and I've got the old one listed. And I need to upgrade it, put serial number on it. Somebody came and stole it. I wouldn't even know really how to identify it. So I've been taking my tag pics and everything, which Mark says we can upload into Munis. It'll actually carry those pictures. And so that's going to be cool. but look through that and add it up. But I think what she wants us to do after we scrub that is she's sitting on $3 million worth of unidentified hard assets that aren't categorized, that she doesn't have in a particular place that needs to be. You know, they belong to someone's department, but we're just carrying them as a county. And it would certainly be a benefit to us to go through that. But I've been real intrigued by mine. I'm actually redoing them and putting them, and went over some notes that I'm making on mine because I was just fascinated by it because some of it's very old.
Some of that equipment that you had over there should have been in a museum. It was all together. It looked like it would function properly if the motor would run, and it was old.
Well,
I mean, it was neat looking, like that three-wheeled roller, the one.
Yeah, was that steam? Did you ever figure out? Was that
gasoline engine? Yeah.
Gasoline?
Yeah.
But it had to be an old gasoline motor.
Flathead, probably an old Moline, I think.
I mean, that had to be a collector's item for somebody out
Yeah.
there, you know. It's
Yeah.
really cool. I hadn't seen anything like that, and, well, I guess I'd ever seen anything like that.
Well, I've never seen one of them
I
old
hadn't seen anything
Raiders.
like that since I walked through my own yard.
Is that all, sir? Okay. We lost two good friends over the weekend. Hack Alexander passed away.
Who?
Hack Alexander lived over in Iowa Park, retired command chief from Shepherd Air Force
I didn't
Base.
even know that he was in bad shape.
Yeah, about 6 months ago, he called me and asked me to get a VA officer up there and get everything lined up. It may not even have been 6 months. And I talked to him probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago or something like that, and meant to call again, so don't put those calls off. We also lost a longtime county friend, Palo Pinto auditor and county judge, retired Mickey West. Yeah. He had a second stroke, Michelle, and was not doing well at all, and probably that was a blessing. But he passed away Friday evening. And no. So those two, we do have a Friday, a meeting. I think y'all are coming back Thursday from College Station. We have a meeting Friday, 10 a.m., pay bills and do staff reports. Lee, one thing I was thinking about when the guy brought his helicopter up, I thought, well, you know, we've got that drone that's and all, but I gained a little drone flying experience over the weekend. I now have one missing in action.
Really?
Yeah. I got it up. I didn't allow for the wind. They do not do well against the wind. They do not float well either. I watched it go out. It hit its 500-foot limit away from the transmitter, shut down, and just didn't not much splash.
Oh, it landed in the water.
Yeah, and the only boat I had that my son-in-law and I cleaned out the wasp nest, grabbed it. It's a paddle boat. The two of us, no beer on the boat, no nothing, just life jackets and us, and paddled out to the lake. Going out was great. Turning back in against the wind was not so great. But we got.
Did you retrieve?
No, we could not find.
They call that the Deep Six.
Yeah. I think by the time it was 30 minutes.
$1,000.
Well, no, this one, no, I had, no, it was less than, it was a $50 drone. Well, Chris got it.
$50?
Yeah, it was about 100. The same drone I got my grandson is, the new model of it's only half the price of what the other one was.
Oh, well, the one that Barry Mahler's got is not a toy.
Well, no, it's, they've gone up into advanced drone piloting, but we did learn after losing that one not to take the other one up above about 10 feet. And still, even then with the wind, they will not come back.
Wind is not your friend.
No.
Well, I was very surprised. The wind was really, really gusting bad the day of the fire. Of course, that's why we got out of control. I thought, man, that helicopter ride is going to be. It was not.
No, they beat the air into submission.
Smoothest. The wind could just blow, and that helicopter never bobbled. So it was a good thing.
Well, that's that rotary blade. They are beating the air into submission as they move
You're
along.
creating.
I thought it was gonna be rough,
No.
it's not.
It can be, but generally not. You know.
Been in a fixed wing, it would've been rough.
Yeah. All right. You want to think of anything that we need to? Okay. It's 9:55, and we're adjourned. Hey, Jeff, who's in charge of your